Milton Friedman was an American economist and he was born in Brooklyn, New York on July 31st. Friedman was indeed a talented student, graduated from high school at the young age of 16. Milton Friedman received the 1976 Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Science for his research on consumption analysis, monetary history, and complexity of civilization. With George Stigler and others, Friedman was among the intellectual leaders at the University of Chicago. So, what is Friedman's contribution to the world? Yes, you got that right. Floating exchange rates, monetary policy, and economic liberalization. 1 Singapore dollar is equivalent to
4 ringgit Malaysia.
Yes. I would like to change my $1 Singapore to Malaysia ringgit.
Okay, with your 1 Singapore dollar, you will get 4 ringgit Malaysia.
4 ringgit only?
Yes, 4 ringgit only.
Okay.
Milton Friedman was a strong advocate for floating exchange rate. He argued that a flexible exchange rate would make external adjustment possible and allow countries to avoid balance of payment crises.
Monetary theory. Friedman is best known for his ideas on role of money in the economy. He discussed several topics including demand for money, the quantity theory of money, the causes of the Great Depression, and the long-run vertical Phillips curve, and the monetary role. Demand for money. Viewed the demand for money as the demand for cash balance because people provide utility to the holder. There are 3 major determinants of amount of money household and enterprise will desire to hold at any given time. The determinants are total wealth. Total wealth is all form can be measured by permanent income. As permanent income increase, the amount of money people desire to hold as cash balance also increase. Second one is cost of holding money. Higher cost will result in less money being held. The cost of money vary with interest rate. If the return on non-money assets such as stocks and bonds rise, the opportunity cost of holding money rise and less money is demanded. Next one is the expectation rate of inflation. Higher expected rates of inflation enhance the prospect for capital gains and thus increase the cost of holding money. And then the price level. The higher the price level, the less the nominal cost of holding money because each dollar held will buy less. Taste and preference. Preference about holding and using cash are the third major determinants of money demands. Friedman asserted that this preference remain relatively constant. In summary, Friedman said that the amount of money demanded varies directly with permanent income and price level. Inversely, with expected rate of inflation, and it significantly with change in the interest rate. The modern quantity theory of money. According to Friedman, the demand for money is relatively stable in short run. The Federal Reserve System controls the supply of money. An increase in the supply of money will leave people holding cash balance in excess of amounts that they want. They will attempt to rid themselves of this excess transaction assets by spending cash and writing checks. But the community as whole cannot rid itself of excess cash balance. Thus, the attempt by people to rid themselves of cash balance will drive up the demand and goods and services and increase the output, price, and or some combination of each. In circumstances wherein the economy is operating at its natural level of employment and the output, only the price will rise over the long run. As the price level increase, the demand for money increase because the community desire to hold additional money to buy the higher priced good. Eventually, equilibrium between the quantity of money supply and the demand is restored, but at higher price level. Thus, according to Friedman, the modern quantity theory of money is established. It does not assume the velocity is constant as did the older quantity theory, but rather than the demand of money is in high stable. The cause of the Great Depression. Friedman and Schwartz reached the controversial conclusion that the monetary policy was largely responsibility for causing the Great Depression of the 1930s. It failed because Federal Reserve System forced and permitted a sharp reduction in the monetary base because it failed to exercise the responsibilities assigned to it in the Federal Reserve Act to provide liquidity of the banking system.
Okay, now let's talk about the long-run vertical Phillips curve. The natural rate of unemployment is the one that will occur when the actual rate of inflation and the expected rate of inflation are equal. Authorities can push the actual rate of unemployment temporarily below the natural rate only by generating a level of inflation that is greater than expected. But once the people adjust their expectation to the new higher rate of inflation, the natural rate of unemployment will return. The monetary rules. Friedman advocated setting the nominal interest rate at zero. According to the logic of the Friedman rule, the opportunity cost of holding money faced by the private agent should equal the social cost of creating additional fiat money. The marginal cost of creating additional money is zero or approximated by zero. Therefore, nominal rate of interest should be zero. In practice of this, means that the central bank should seek a rate of deflation equal to the real interest rate on the government bonds and other assets to make the nominal interest rate zero. The result of this policy is people who hold money don't suffer any loss in the value of money due to inflation. Next is K% rules. K% rules is a monetary theory that states that the Federal Reserve should grow the money supply by a set amount per year. Let's see how does the K% rules works. Often that K% rules mirror the GDP growth, meaning that K equal to growth in GDP. GDP growth is usually between 1 and 5%. If the Federal Reserve want to stimulate a sluggish economy, it might make K greater than GDP growth, meaning that it grows the money supply at a rate higher than the rate of growth in the economy as a whole. If the Federal Reserve want to slow down the economy, it might make K smaller than GDP growth, meaning that it grows the money supply at a rate lower than the rate of growth in the economy as a whole. The last part is the economic liberalism. Economic liberalism is a concept that the government should not try to control price, rent, and wages, but instead let open the competition and force of a demand and supply, create an equilibrium between them that benefit the vast majority of citizens. He also favored the distribution of income through the taxes and welfare payment.
Hi, I am Haida. I'm going to talk about contribution by Milton Friedman. So, he have contributed 3 contributions, which is the first one is consumption function, and the second one monetary theory, and the last one is economic liberalism. So, I will only focus on my part, which is consumption function. Published a theory of consumption function in 1957. According to him, a household consumption is determined by the permanent income rather than the current income, and also its expected income in the future years. Here, the meaning of the permanent income is the average income that people expect to receive over a period of years. So, this is because the people want to maintain a reasonably stable standard of their living from year to year. So, the changes in income will consider to be contemporary. And for your information, consumption does not respond to every changes in income because of the investment or the government spending. So, finally, it will only respond to the changes in income that people view to be permanent or long-lasting. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Farhah. So, just now, my friends already shared about the background of Milton Friedman and his major contribution. So, right now, I want to discuss about the differences between monetarist economics and Keynesian economics to sum up all the information. So, first and foremost, what is monetarist economics? Monetarist economics is Milton Friedman's direct criticism of Keynesian economics theory. The difference between this theory is that monetarist economics involves the control of money in the economy, while Keynesian economics involves government expenditure. Monetarists believe in the control of money supply in the economy and allows the rest of the market to fix itself. Keynesian economists believe that a troubled economy continues in a downward spiral unless something is done to drive consumers to buy more goods and services. Monetarists believe when they're fighting inflation with money supply, they can actually influence interest rates in future. While Keynesian economics discuss on the theory of total spending in economy and its effect on output and inflation. So, both of these macro theories directly impact the way lawmakers to create fiscal and monetary policies. So, that is all from us. Thank you for watching our video.